Hey guys, and welcome back to today's trade recap. Today we will be recapping the price action we saw today on US 30, and those are the trades that we had today during the London kill zone, starting at 2 a.m. and ending at 5 a.m. So let's have a look at these exact trades. We received our first entry long because we closed above the VWAP. We had bullish colored candles here in blue by the Scalper Pro indicator, which I minimized right here because I don't need to see it. I just want to see the candle coloring of the Scalper Pro if I'm trading this strategy. I don't want to be distracted. I only want to see what I have to see. So we had blue colored candles, we are above our yellow line, and we got our first bullish crossover right here on this candle. This was a down close candle, so I entered right at the close, placed my stop loss at the swing low, which also perfectly lined up with the VWAP here, and price continued moving into our direction without ever going much or deep into any kind of drawdown, and it hit our 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio profit target. That next trade has been brought to my attention actually by one of our community members. I completely missed this trade because the first trade just hit my take profit, and I typically don't like to trade at the high of the day because at this time here during this London session, this has been the high of the day, and I don't like taking high of the day entries if there hasn't been a significant pullback. Yet this would have been a valid entry signal here on US 30 with this bullish crossover, and the stop loss would have been placed at the swing low or maybe the ATR. Right here I would have preferably went for this swing low right here, which would have been taken out pretty much immediately after the entry. Our last trade that we got has been a pullback where we pulled back to the VWAP right here, and we again got a entry long right here on this candle, and it also hit our stop loss. And here this trade is a little bit more interesting because one of our community members thought that the ideal stop loss placement would be right here on the VWAP, but the reason why I chose in this case the ATR right here, if we go for the ATR bands indicator, is because it gave me that little bit of extra breathing room for this specific trade. Because the VWAP, it's not like a physical wall where price can't go slightly below like we saw right here on this wick. So ideally what I would have liked to see is price ideally just hit my take profit, but realistically speaking, the price is likely to retest the VWAP if it's already in that movement here to the downside. But since it's not a physical wall where price can't break through, like an SMA or an EMA, same for the VWAP, price tends to accumulate around this level. And this means that eventually we see a little bit we see a close below the VWAP, or like in this case a wick below it. So if we place our stop loss exactly on the VWAP, we are basically limiting ourselves from that possibility. An example where I would place the stop loss on the VWAP would be like, for example, right here, because we already retested it and we bounce back off it. Right here, we did not have that bounce yet. So for example, if we would have received an entry right here on this candle, I would have also chosen a swing low for the continuation move to the upside. But simply continue watching the daily trade recaps and you will get a hang of the stop loss placement. We also have community members who place their stops always based on the ATR bands indicator right here. And he's also profitable with his strategy. I think today he made around 2.5% trading only the London session on Euro, US dollar and US 30. And that was basically the end of the London kill zone. Unfortunately, we have not been triggered into another long trade to catch the momentum above Friday's high. And yeah, so we broke even today. We did not make any profit. I luckily did not take this trade, so I actually ended up with 1% net profit today, making a 2% gain on the account right here and losing 1% right here on this trade. Ideally, I would have liked to see that bounce like we saw it on Nasdaq and the S&P 500, where we did not receive such a deep pullback all the way below the VWAP. If we're looking at the trade opportunities that we received outside of the London kill zone, I don't take them because it's just way easier for me to sit in front of the charts for 3 hours and take every opportunity I see during that 3-hour period, instead of sitting in front of the charts for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, a not very regulated amount of time or period of time, because then I can't bring consistency into my daily schedule and planning of what I'm doing, because I basically have a undefined schedule of how long I'm going to work. This is why I'm fixating on the London kill zone right here. But this does not mean that you have to do it the same way, because the strategy still works outside of the London kill zone, as we can clearly see. We received another long entry right here on this candle. We could have placed our stop loss in this case. The swing low would have been a little bit too far away for my liking, since we didn't really pull back. We already formed a new higher high, so we could say the swing low in this case would be this level right here. If we check the ATR bands indicator, it's even a tighter stop loss, so it would have been pretty much up to you where you would place your stop loss. The swing high would be right here for a 20 pips stop loss or 19 pips, and the ATR would tell you to go roughly for a 14 pips stop loss. So your 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio would have been hit rather quickly right here. So this would have been a winning trade. And if you might have missed that trade, we consolidated right around this area and would have received another entry long before we went all the way up above Friday's high. So plenty of opportunities also outside of the kill zones. And my goal for you is basically that you fit this strategy, this scalping system, to your own needs, because some of you can't trade the specific timing window and you can only trade maybe from 4 a.m. New York local time up until 6 a.m. New York local time. And all you have to do is to do your own backtesting, get a hang of it yourself, see how it works in a different timing window. But of course, you can also just copy what I'm doing. We've got some community members that trade starting from, I think, 3 a.m. New York local time, or I think 2 a.m. New York local time, all the way up to 8 a.m. and then they actually have to stop because they can't continue trading for the rest of the day. But yeah, what I prefer to do is I prefer to scalp the London kill zone, have a 3-hour lunch break for me to reset, take my dog for a walk, and then come back to the charts and trade a 3-hour New York session. Very simple, and yeah, that's how I like to schedule my day, and that brings me consistency in my day or throughout my day, which also helps me with the consistency of my trading results. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So let's go over the New York kill zone. We received an entry short right here. After this big massive drop, we had a fake out above Friday's high, and we immediately reversed back down to the VWAP. At the start of the New York kill zone, we saw that we have been rejected by the VWAP. So would I place my stop loss right here on the VWAP as a stop loss placement? Of course not. A swing high would also be, let's say, harder to define. So what would I do? I check on the ATR and I see the ATR would give me a little bit of breathing room above the VWAP. So in case there's going to be a wick, like in this scenario, we wouldn't be stopped out. And of course, for the New York session, we would increase our ATR band scale factor to 1.5. So our stop loss would actually be right here, and we hit a 1 to 1.5. And this trade would have been a break-even trade because we hit our 1 to 1.5 risk to reward ratio. And yeah, close this trade at break-even during the New York kill zone, sorry. And we received another entry short right here on this candle. Here we have a beautiful swing high that's also perfectly lining up with the VWAP at the same time. We already moved away from the VWAP and from our swing high, so placing our stop loss up here is safe. We can also have a look at the ATR. The ATR would basically signal is a 1-bar stop. So if we're engulfing this bearish candle to the downside, we would already be out of the trade, which also makes sense because we try to catch momentum to the downside right here at 920. If you place a tight stop loss, your take profit is also not going to be as far away. I decided to go for the stop loss at VWAP to play it safe in this particular case, and it hit my 2-to-1 profit target right at the 9:30 opening bell of the New York Stock Exchange for a take profit of 2%. After that, I was done for the day. I closed off with 3% profit because I did not take that second trade during the London kill zone. But overall, if I would have taken that, I would have closed out the day with a net profit of 2%. Of course, I think we actually got another entry on during the New York kill zone, which was all the way down here. But after such a big drop, I haven't been very interested in taking another short with a, hang on, I would have went for a 1-bar stop right here because it's pretty much unnecessary. We've already formed a new low. In case we are going to reverse and go back above this candle's high, basically engulfing it, I don't want to be in the trade. So this would make it lots simpler, or much simpler for us, for our take profit target to be hit. Because now our take profit target would only be this far away from our entry. But if we move it all the way up to this swing high, if we want to call it this, our take profit target is going to be even further to the downside. And after a significant drop to the downside right here at the opening, we don't want to expect too much because price isn't always, that's a 254 pip drop to the downside, upseller, only during the New York kill zone, or basically the first hour of the New York kill zone. So there we are, now we are back. That's why I would have went for a 1-bar stop on this trade, which would have been stopped out. So taking all the trades throughout all the kill zones that I do my backtesting for, we would have ended the day at a net profit of 1% after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades, which is not bad. And I think we're currently looking at a net profit of 5% for the week, trading all the sessions. I also just finished the backtesting for the, or basically the logging of the first 2 weeks of April. These have been my live trades, and if I made a mistake during live trading, I corrected it right here in the spreadsheet. And we can see that during the first week of April, taking all the trades at 1% risk per trade, only on US30 during those 2 specific timing windows that I outlined earlier during the video, we made 9% profit during the first week with 9 winning trades and 9 losing trades, 50% win rate, 9% net profit at a 2-to-1 risk reward ratio. And during the second week of April, we made a total net profit of 6%, even though we lost more trades than we actually won. Here are the stats that we're currently looking at: a net profit of 15%, trading both sessions with a win rate of 45.24%. Alright guys, that's it for me with this trade recap. I hope you enjoyed it and you might have learned something new. And yeah, if you did, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and give this video a like. This really helps me growing my YouTube community and also our trading community on our Discord server that you definitely should join. Alright guys, take care, and I will be back for tomorrow's trade recap.